If you feel like your woman is always nagging, you feel like she's always complaining, maybe she is. And maybe she has some healing to do on her own. But maybe, just maybe, it's that this woman sees the greatness in you and just wants to get there. She sees the greatness and the potential of your greatness. But there is something missing. There is something lacking, and she's trying to express to you to get there. Hey guys, what is up? It's your girl Stephanie, aka the Limitless Babe, reminding you today and every day that you are limitless. So today I want to have a conversation with the gentleman. I want to be your big sis, little sis, whatever resonates. And I want to talk to the gentleman about your needs, about your struggles, about maybe understanding the female psyche a little bit better, because I do recognize that actually most of my subscribers are men. Most of my commenters are men. And so that tells me that I do need to be more mindful and gear some of my conversations more towards you guys. That doesn't mean all of them will be, but here and there, I'm going to throw you guys some gems. So if there are any topics that you want or anything that you are struggling with or any relationship scenarios that you're going through, drop me comments, let me know, and I will do my best to address it and maybe share with you the female perspective. Okay. I'm not going to tell you that you're right. I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. I'm not going to tell you that she's right or that she's wrong, but I'm going to offer you a healthy, divine, feminine perspective so that maybe if healing your relationship is something that you want, maybe that can happen. Okay. This is not a one size fits all conversation, but also, um, the situations are not going to be the same for everybody. It's not a one size fits all scenario. So I may give you advice and it may not fit your specific scenario depending on the type of person that you're dealing with, depending on, your personality style. So I hope that something comes out of this, take what resonates, leave the rest behind, and let's move forward. Let's have a really honest, respectful conversation. Let's dive into today's topic, your relationship. And this is assuming that you have a significant female in your life, whether it is an official relationship, situationship, partnership, marriage, whatever it is that you have going on, there's a significant female that you care deeply for, but for whatever reason, things aren't working. Okay. A big thing that I see going wrong in relationships is the communication or actually the lack of. And a lot of times, from the female perspective, and again, this is not me saying that you're wrong or that you're right, but from the female perspective, I have heard, oh, he had the nerve to say that I was nagging or bitching, or he thinks I'm always complaining and he just shuts me out. And I will tell you, I have personally dealt with this, and it is very frustrating from the female side. I actually dated a gentleman that it was really frustrating and really wild because no matter how I addressed it, no matter how I tweaked my communication style, no matter how I tried to be mindful and thoughtful of how I addressed him, anytime I had to bring up anything about him or about the relationship that I was struggling with, not only did he get immediately defensive, not only did he say that I was nagging, but also I got the very distinct impression he was not even having a conversation with me. It felt very much like he was speaking to someone from his past because it didn't add up. It didn't, the response was not an appropriately fitting response for what was going on. It was very elevated, very escalated, very much trying to shut me up, very much this inability to hear what I had to say, but I didn't feel like he was responding to anything I was saying. It felt very much like he was just triggered and responding to a scenario from his past. Now, that might not be your case, but that's just an experience that I had. Now, where I want to go with this topic is, again, inviting you to see the female perspective. If you feel like your woman is always nagging, if you feel like your woman is always bitching, if you feel like she's always complaining, stop for a second. And I'm not saying she's not doing those things. Maybe she is. And maybe she has some healing to do on her own. But maybe, just maybe, it's that this woman sees the greatness in you and just wants to get there. She sees the greatness and the potential of your greatness. But there is something missing. There is something lacking, and she's trying to express to you to get there. Because the reality is, I'm going to tell you right now, if a woman doesn't see greatness in you, if she doesn't see potential in you, she's not wasting her time. We're not going to waste our breath. We're not going to bother trying to compromise or communicate or work through things because why? I don't see any value in this person. I'm just going to accept it for what it is and either stick it out and just have my fun or I'm going to move on. We're not going to waste our time. I want you to think for a second. Think back to when you were in school, okay? When you were in school, I feel like almost everyone had that one teacher that was exceptionally hard on you. There's always that one student that the teacher's like extra focused on and pointing out things more, maybe a little bit harder on. Now, is it that that teacher hates that student and that's why? Most often than not, it's actually that that teacher sees so much greatness in you and so much potential in you that they want to pull it out, that they want to do the work. They want you to do the work to let it out because they see it in you. So, with that same thought, just like the teacher scenario, that's what your woman sees in you. Your woman sees greatness. Your woman sees potential. Your woman sees something worth fighting for. Because again, if it's not worth fighting for, we're not wasting our breath. We're not wasting our time. We're not wasting our juicy, yummy goodness, especially if she's a divine feminine. If she is a feminine that is in touch with herself, her spirituality, that really knows her value, she's not wasting her time. Okay. But if she's actually taking the time to make the effort to communicate with you, maybe you flip the narrative that's happening in your brain and maybe you're triggered. Maybe when that happens, you get triggered because you've had a lot of experiences in your past where people were harsh on you. Maybe you dealt with a narcissist. Remember, a lot of my topics deal with overcoming narcissistic abuse. Narcissists do not just come in male form. They come in female forms too. Is it possible that you had an abusive relationship? Is it possible that you had a very unhealthy mother figure? Is it possible that you went through things in your childhood, in your young adulthood, that were not fair? And it came from the source of a woman. So when any woman now turns around and tries to express some room for growth, that it triggers you and shuts you down. Is it possible? And I'm hoping that this is easy to take for me because I'm an outsider. Like I don't matter to you. So I'm hoping that you're able to receive this message from me because I just want to heal your relationship if that's what you want. Okay? One thing that I want to remind you is that relationships, partnerships, marriages, while they are beautiful, while love is a beautiful thing, it's not all gumdrops and roses. Okay? The reality is that relationships are intended to trigger the hell out of us, to heal us, to make us better. Relationships are intended to teach us compromise, to teach us growth, to teach us love for someone else on such a deep level that we want to show up as our best, right? And so try to shift your perspective to thinking when my woman is complaining or trying to bring up something like, oh, she keeps bringing this up from the past. One, recognize if it's something from the past that keeps coming up, is it possible that your woman is seriously hurting about it? And while you can turn around and say, and you wouldn't be wrong to say, well, she needs to heal. She needs to make herself happy. Yes, she does. But here's the thing. Did you have anything to do with causing that pain? If you did, then unfortunately, you do need to work with her on that healing process. While the bulk of that healing is hers, she needs to see that she's not alone. She needs to see that you want to make it right because that pain doesn't just go away. And if a woman heals her pain on her own, she's going to stay on her own or move on to someone else. She's not going to stay with the person that hurt her and left her to figure it out on her own. Okay? It doesn't make sense. Why would we? Like you kicked me in the face, but I'm going to stay at you and try my hardest not to think every day about the time that you kicked me in the face? No, that doesn't make sense. Unless you actually took the time to apologize, help me heal, help me recover, help me know that moving forward, I can trust you implicitly to know you are never going to kick me in the face again. Then now when I look at you, instead of remembering being kicked in the face, I remember, yeah, we went through hard times, but that man is by my side and that man will help lift me up. One. Okay. So one being, if you actually were part of what created the harm, yes, you need to participate in healing that harm if you want her to stay. If you don't want her to stay, if you want her to go and move on, then no, you don't have to. But if you want her to stay, yeah, you need to show that woman that you care enough to be a part of the healing and to make things right. And I've talked about this in other videos, guys. Repair work is so important in healthy relationships. Not just because it fixes the problem, but also because it builds trust and rapport between partners. Okay. And going to the other side, let's say you had nothing to do with this pain, right? Let's just say that she's going through something. And yes, it is her job to heal. Absolutely. But here's the thing, you're in a partnership. Whatever kind of partnership that is. Again, we talked about this, whether that is an actual relationship, a situationship, whatever it is, you have that woman by your side for whatever time frame, for whatever period, for whatever reason, right? You want her there. I'm assuming you want her there, otherwise you wouldn't even be watching this. So you want her there. She's going through something or hurt from something from her past, maybe, whatever the case is. It's not your job to heal her. But if you love that person, it is your job to be there for them. Remember, partnerships are just that, partnerships. Okay? These are not strangers. When you're in a partnership, sometimes you're going to be the strong one and help lift the other person up. And sometimes she's going to be the strong one and help lift you up. And there's this beautiful dance of just being there for each other. And the more that you do this dance, the more that trust is built and cemented. And this beautiful foundation of I can count on this person through anything. Okay. And yeah, sometimes being there for her is going to mean holding her hand and being there while she does her therapy, while she does her healing, but still reminding her, I love you and I still want to be there for you. Is there a way that I can support you through this? Because I know you're healing for us. Because that's the thing, guys. Anytime we're healing, whether you're doing the healing or whether she's doing the healing, when it's to make a relationship work, you're doing it essentially, yes, for yourselves, first and foremost, always, but you're also doing it for the relationship, for your partner. So there has to be this level of appreciation and recognizing you're doing this for us. And I appreciate that. So I hope that this is all making sense. But I also want to remind you guys that, you think that this woman is nagging and bitching and complaining. This creature, this amazing creature, she's amazing. And yes, I'm saying she's amazing and I know she's amazing. You know why? Because you picked her. Why would you pick someone that wasn't amazing, right? So you picked this amazing creature to stand by your side in whatever facet she does. And yet, you don't see her value enough to recognize that the words that are coming out of her mouth are not just to break you down. The words are to find a common ground, to feel heard and seen, to work together, to build and create something. And the thing is, this amazing creature sees greatness in you. That's why she's complaining. It doesn't make sense. I get it. It might not. But if you really think about it, it does. It really does, because she wants that greatness to just keep going up. She wants to build you up. Essentially, when she's complaining, when she's bitching, when she's nagging, she wants to take that greatness that she sees and just make it bigger and greater and more wonderful. If you let her, that woman can lift you to a whole other level of life. Okay? If you let her, if you take the time to hear her, if you take the time to pay attention to the words that she is saying. Okay? And I promise you, here's something that I do know about women, especially healthy women. Okay, we're not talking again about the narcissists and the really like the, there are some women that are kind of psycho, just like there are men that are kind of psycho. But a really healthy woman that loves you, when you take the time to listen to her, to hear her, to see her, and to actually make effort for her, there's nothing that woman will not reciprocate for you. Like that woman will want to make life easier. She wants to be your peace. But the problem is that there is a thorn somewhere in your relationship that maybe you're not realizing, but she is. And she knows at a deep level, if we don't handle this, it's going to keep going and keep going and keep going and eventually just break us completely apart. And I don't want that because I see the greatness in this person. She's your amazing and you're her greatness. So don't let what you perceive as nagging and bitching to pull you guys apart. Instead, take those opportunities to really focus and say, let me hear what she's saying because these words are coming out of the mouth of this amazing woman. The words have to have value. And when you change your perspective and see it that way and see her that way, you're creating this spiral dynamic of just love and respect and honor and value for each other. And you're creating this unbreakable bond that, again, a woman that is loved properly will reciprocate. Somebody said in the comments, I'm starting to realize that if she wanted to, she would. And that's a phrase that we often use about men, in situations, we use this all the time, right? If they wanted to, they would. Yes. But keep in mind, and this I know is not going to be an easy pill for everyone to swallow, but you are the man. Biologically, biblically, evolutionarily, you are the lead. So when you can put your ego aside and look at this woman as the amazing creature that you first met, and remember all the love that you felt for her, and you can take that initiative. You put your ego aside and say, I love you enough to lead. I promise you, if she is a healthy woman and she loves you, that woman is going to reciprocate so beautifully back. And you can save relationships this way if you want to. If you don't listen to anything that I say, okay? But I'm telling you, if you're dealing with a healthy woman who loves you, who wants the best for both of you, give it a shot. What do you have to lose, right? So I hope that this message is helpful. I do hope that you actually watched it all the way through. And if you did, you're a real one. Thank you. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, to hit that bell for notifications, hit the like button, drop me comments. And especially, like I said, I do want to maybe make more videos to help men, but you guys got to guide me there because I'm not a man. I don't know what's on your brain. I don't know what topics you want to talk about. So let me know. Let me know what it is that interests you and what it is that maybe you're struggling with. And I will do my best. And again, it's never going to be one size fits all because I'm not sitting in front of you and your partner and hearing both sides. Because the reality is there's 3 sides to every story. So all I can do is offer you my perspective as a woman and offer you perspective shifts for you to consider and hope and pray for you and your partnership that my advice is helpful. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you. If you are here and watching, you probably are a very healthy, divine masculine man. And just know that the world needs more of you. The world appreciates you. You're a woman that sees greatness in you, even if she doesn't see it all the time. Even if even if you don't think she sees it all the time, she also appreciates that in you and she's grateful for that in you, and you are valued and you are worthy, and I don't even know where else to go with this. Just know that healthy masculinity is something that we need, we appreciate, and we love. So thank you and stay limitless. Bye.